I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. A fire tore through an abandoned Westside house early Wednesday morning, leaving behind a little more than a charred shell. Neighbors say the home had been a magnet for trouble for years. Now they're asking why it took a fire for something to be done. Sue Kalberg has a story.
Neighbors were stopping me in the street to say they've been complaining about this place for at least 2 years.
There's just things happening all the time because we call it in and the police say they got their hands tied, that they can't do anything.
Jesse says the fire on Lark Avenue was so threatening he turned on his own garden hose to protect his house. It was a disturbing moment for a military veteran.
I believe that I served so people could have their opinions and their freedom, but this is worse than freedom. This is lawlessness.
Essentially, 2 houses on fire.
Sure enough, by the time firefighters arrived, 2 houses were ablaze. They say the fire started in an abandoned structure overrun by transients, and it was so hot it torched the occupied home next door, leaving that family displaced.
I mean, thank God he's alive, but it could have been worse.
SAPD says they've had 3 complaints about the vacant house this year. We're still waiting for code compliance to answer our questions about the enforcement history here. A lot of times when the damage is this extensive, it's hard to determine a cause. We're also waiting to learn if code compliance is going to order an immediate demolition. In West San Antonio, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
A historic ballroom in Crystal City is no more after back-to-back disasters. The Crystal Ballroom flooded just over a week ago. Then days ago, heavy flames tore through the building. Mike Jimenez went to Crystal City to look at the damage.
Monday night, just after 10 p.m., videos of the Crystal City Ballroom on fire started circulating on social media. Maria Aguilar lives nearby and got a call from her daughter telling her the ballroom was on fire. So she went outside and saw the flames.
It was horrible. Feo.
Ugly. The fire was really high. Aguilar has lived in Crystal City for more than 50 years and says the memories she shared at the ballroom are special, not just for her, but for the community. Here, the entire town uses the ballroom for quinceañeras, weddings, parties, everything. 15-year-old Natalie Villegas just celebrated her quinceañera party at the ballroom on July 11th, before the floodwaters arrived in Crystal City, and was in disbelief about the fire at the ballroom.
Why did it have to be the ballroom? Because the flood and then now the fire.
Villegas says she always dreamed of having her quince at the ballroom and was overwhelmed with emotions talking about the fire.
Sad.
Now Villegas has the honor of being the last quinceañera held at the ballroom and says its destruction is a loss for the entire Crystal City community.
Because I feel bad for everybody.
I spoke with the owner of the ballroom, Mr. Sendejo, who was too emotional to go on camera, but shared some of the history of the ballroom and some of the big acts that performed here, including Selena.
Selena, Los Cuatitos Cantú, Ramon Ayala, too. We got to see Ramon Ayala.
The Crystal City Volunteer Fire Department says the cause of the fire is unknown, and the Texas State Fire Marshal's office is investigating. But for residents like Aguilar, the fire will have long-lasting impacts on the community.
I'm going to be depressed for a long time. Every time I see it, I'm going to cry.
Mike Jimenez, KENS 5.
What started as a unique office decoration turned into a visit from the bomb squad. An Atascosa County man learned the Civil War relic he'd kept on his desk for years was actually a live explosive device. Zach Briggs has the story.
It's a good thing somebody didn't use it for an ashtray or something. That's all I got to say.
Steve Martin's talking about this cylindrical iron chunk of history, another office decoration, or so he thought.
I've had it there for years.
Monday morning, he was at work checking the trucking schedule. He made some small talk with one of the drivers who shared an alarming suspicion.
Oh, he says, that could be a live ordnance there. You know, he said, I've had military training, and he said, that really looks like the real deal.
To find out if it was the real deal, Martin rang the Atascosa County Sheriff's Office. They called in the explosive ordnance team from Lackland Air Force Base. During the inspection, Martin's mind was all over the place.
I thought it was some sort of a dummy, and now I'm thinking, well, the thing's making a dummy out of me, right? Who's the dummy here?
Then came the big reveal.
And he came back out and told us what it was, and it was from the Civil War. And all this time I'd had that antique bomb there that potentially could have exploded.
And it was some years back when Martin and his son Jarrett were enjoying their time along the river when suddenly Jarrett comes across this relic going back to the 1800s.
And my son was the one that found it while fishing on the Guadalupe River and gave it to me.
The shell turned out to be a parrot round, a type of Civil War artillery projectile designed by Robert Parker Parrott. Definitely not every day the sheriff's office sees one of these.
I mean, it's amazing that those things are still turning up almost 200 years later. People stumble across ordnance from time to time, but usually it's not anywhere near as old as that one was.
Deputy Chief Eric Kaiser says the EOD team took the parrot round to Camp Bullis and disposed of it in a safe manner. As for Martin,
but I feel like this was a Confederate bomb altogether. I'd like to have it back.
He's hoping the artifact can somehow be preserved, especially since many of his ancestors served in the Civil War.
I really did feel a direct connection to this.
But in the meantime, Martin does plan to be a bit more vigilant in the future before bringing home his next Riverside souvenir.
Well, I'm going to be careful, of what I pick up. Yeah. If somebody just hands you something, might be a hot potato.
Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
And that's the news in San Antonio.